Hi,
Hi.
gorgeous.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. This is great. I'm doing an interview in the comfort of my own home. It's wonderful.
Girl, the new normal.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm glad.
I love it. I'm so happy to talk to you, Jessica. Everybody's been like sending me DMs. They're like, oh, I love her. I love Nora West Allen.
Oh, that makes
So,
me so happy.
yes, your fans are here and we're excited to talk to you. How
Hey,
how is quarantine life going for you?
I can't complain. I'm really lucky. I have a little house with a little backyard and a little front yard. I have my two dogs, and I have access to clean water and groceries, and so it like drives me crazy when I hear people that are in a similar being like, oh, this is so awful and hard. And yeah, there's an element of like fear to it because it's new, and mentally it can be draining for sure because we're in like very uncertain territory, and like obviously like I like want to see my mom and do stuff like that, and I can't. So that's hard, but I mean, I have it so much better than so many people right now. So I
Right.
just like people that are can't work right now, and or nurses and doctors that are in the hospitals. So I'm fine. Everything is fine.
I love that. What have you learned from this experience? It's such a new thing for us all, though. What's the biggest thing you've learned from this process?
Um, you know, I'm a really like indoor kind of person anyway.
Mhm.
I I'm very introverted. I like to be on my own. So this has been I don't know. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but there's been something nice about not having the pressure of like I should be going out. I should be doing this. I've kind of feel like I'm like, welcome to my world, everyone. And I make a lot of trips to Home Depot, and I've been doing some landscaping, gardening in my place. There's just something very still at this moment, and I've just been really trying to like enjoy that, I guess.
Yeah.
And kind of yeah, I don't know, there's something I feel like it's fairly present, I
Right.
guess. A very kind of so yeah, it's really hard whenever there's something horrible happening to take the positives out of it. Otherwise, yeah, you choose to go through life one way. So
I love that though. I think that that's important too. Find a positive in like a negative situation.
totally, absolutely.
Yeah. So Jessica, your journey started in Canada with your mom. Tell us when you decided that okay, acting is what the career path I want to take. I know it was when you saw Romeo and Juliet, but kind of tell us, was there anything before that moment, or what was the defining point for you to say, okay, mom, this is it. This is what I want to do.
It's funny. I don't ever remember having a defining point. I think, I my mom took me to a lot of plays when I was a kid, and
Mhm.
I was way more interested like when everyone would freeze on stage. I was so much more interested in like watching if everyone froze properly and if they stayed in character than I was about the story. I loved all the technicalities of it. So I think I was really interested in the details really early on.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, just watching tons of movies, I would always picture myself in the movie. I'd put me in a character that I was like, oh, I should be in Goodfellas as this like 10-year-old kid
Yeah.
with this amazing storyline. And yeah, so I don't ever remember a defining moment other than when I watched Leo's version of Romeo and Juliet. I was like, oh wow, Shakespeare. And then I got really into Shakespeare, ironically, through like a contemporary movie. But still, I
Mhm.
haven't I think realized that I really wanted to go to acting school. And in acting school, I went to a theater school, so it was like very Shakespeare. Well, we did all kinds of theater, but we learned a lot of Shakespeare. And I did a Burn play, and I did Shakespeare plays, and I loved all that. I love the idea of being able to do theater and film. So that was a long-winded story. I can't really answer your question, but
No, it totally answered my question. I like knowing the journey. I think that that's important to share. Um, you started many years ago, 13 years ago. You had this impressive career, Smallville, Black Cell, um, so many shows, Santa Baby 1 and 2. I mean, you've been on a lot of things. Tell me what you've learned from those specific roles that you had, the small ones and the big ones. What did you learn about acting from
um
those roles?
I learned, I have to say there's something nice about having been in the business for like 13 years now, because you get a little, I was so soft spoken and really shy. I grew up in Canada and I have always been a shy kid. So finding my voice on set, I always felt like so small. I've always just tried to make myself so small, and having you know, not like a tons of years of experience, but enough years of experience, I found my footing on set that I'm able to like say no to people, or I don't want that, or please not, or I'm not comfortable with that, or let's not do that. So I think especially starting out, um, you know, it's like a hierarchy, right? You know, you're like, nobody knows who you are and you have a little part and you don't get a lot of say. You're just kind of there. And I always just absorbed everything and watched all the actors that were, you know, more mainstream, and watched how they behaved on set, and was like trying to learn as much as I could. And so yeah, I think the biggest thing is just I found my space. I found my space on set. I'm a lot more comfortable. I still get really nervous, of course. But once I've like been on the same set for you know, a few days, I like feel a level of I like know what my rights are, I guess, for the first time. That's a really good feeling.
I love it. So you were filming or in the middle of filming Black Cell when you got the call for the Flash, or because I want you to tell us about this process, because you did not audition. You
Yeah.
were specifically chosen by the directors of Flash for this role. So talk to us about how this job landed in your lap. It's such a blessing. Talk to us about
Yeah,
that.
it's the coolest thing ever. So I actually had finished Black Sails. I did 4 years of that in Cape Town, South Africa, which is like a whole other crazy story. Really bananas, amazing, weird, wacky time of life. And I don't think, I can't remember if I was working on anything specifically at the time, but I got a really random call that was like, hey, the showrunners of the Flash want you to go in and talk to them. And I was like, oh, okay. And you know, I still audition all the time. I'm not like an actor that just like gets scripts and offers all the time. So when you hear something like that, you're like, wait, what? Really? Are you used to think of someone else? Not Sarah Jessica Parker.
No.
And
Jessica Parker Kennedy.
you know, because of course Sarah Jessica Parker would be on the Flash. That would make sense.
Right.
But yeah, I always still have that like, do they mean me? And I went in and they pitched me this like extraordinary storyline, and I still had that feeling of like, me, like, me, and it was so cool. That they had kept me in mind, basically, and it came from, you know, the casting directors, Dave Rappaport, had kept me in mind. It was just very cool experience where I felt a part of like the acting community, because they like knew who I was, and every time someone knows who I am, I'm still like, wait, what? Yeah, and they pitched me this amazing storyline, and they were like, do you want to do it? And I was like, absolutely, that's the coolest thing ever. And then I had to start studying the Flash because I'd never seen it before, but I knew I knew it was cool. I knew I wanted to do it.
Right. You're a big fan of Buffy. Had you watched The Flash before you got this role? Had
No,
you watched the show?
I hadn't seen the Flash.
Okay.
I watched some of season one. That you have to like, that was the biggest, scariest thing for me, was wanting to know what the show was about, but it's
Yeah.
not typically the kind of television I would watch. So I was very stressed that once I was in it and I would do interviews or fans would ask questions, they'd ask me things that I couldn't answer, which does happen sometimes, because
Yeah.
even not in my own storyline, I don't get confused, but they'll relate my storyline to something that happened like in season two. And I'm like, yes, I know what you mean. So when people ask me stuff that I don't know, where they're like, what do you think of blah, blah, blah? I'm always like, what do you think of blah?
But that's a good translation.
Yeah, Tom Cavanaugh. Or if there's something you can't talk about, when they say, what do you think of this? You go, well, what do you think of it?
Right.
That they kind of give you your answer.
That's a good way to get them off your back. So Buffy, was she like a source of inspiration for your character for Nora West? Because I know that you watched her growing up. So did I have to say. We're the same age. So I watched her like growing up, and I was like, okay, wow, she's kick ass, you know?
I mean, I met Sarah Michelle Gellar a few years ago when I was doing a TV show called The Secret Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in New York. I think we were at the Upfronts, and she had a show out at the time. And so we were in the same like back hangout area. And I'm really chill with celebrities. I like try not to go up to anybody. And when I meet people, I'm no matter how much I'm freaking out in the inside, I'm always very relaxed. And when I met her, I didn't cry, but I fully was like, "You're my hero." I went full nerd on her, and I felt like I was like, I'm an actor. I'm in the backstage area. I'm like the same as you. You know, I was do this right, and after all those years, and I'm sure this just she's constantly berated with this, like something from 20 years ago, and she was so kind and so gracious, and she was like, "You're so sweet," and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. She didn't have to say any of those things. I'm sure part of it, like, I know, okay, yeah, Buffy, it was 20 years ago. I get it. Leave me alone.
Right.
So nice, and so I just learned such a huge lesson from her because of that, because she was so gracious. She's definitely been a source of inspiration in that, like, I used to love watching like Buffy and Xena and like strong women that could just like
Yes.
butt so hard. So yeah, absolutely. I never thought of her specifically during Nora because I feel like Buffy has her like shit together and Nora's, God bless her. So I didn't
Yes.
really see her as a source of inspiration, but definitely like how cool is it? Because I've been on CW a bunch of times now, and knowing that that's like, I mean, Buffy didn't start necessarily on the CW, but it's the same
Right.
world
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes. So Nora West, let's get into it because the fans are on here. They're asking these questions. You were
Oh,
introduced in season 4, your character, Nora West Allen, and you are the daughter of Iris and Barry, but the future daughter, right? So like this time lapse happens, right? Talk to us about, did you know that that this was the role that you were going to have playing this character? Such a pivotal part
I knew
of
everything.
these two. Yeah.
Everything since season 4, which was awful because they didn't actually, like, obviously Grant and Candace knew, but they didn't tell a lot of the cast who I was. So for the scenes, the episodes that I popped in season 4, I was off. I'm a horrible liar, and I just, people were like main cast were being like, "What's your character? What's your character?" And I had to be like, I like really want to like be cool and fit in and like hang out with you and tell you, but I'm like, so I literally signed these papers that says I wouldn't. So I had to keep it a secret for a really, really long time. So relieved when season 5 started airing and I could talk about who I was and open thing. But yeah, I knew the entire storyline since season 4 all the way to the end of season 5. So I had to keep a lot of it inside.
I love it. Did you feel any pressure joining this cast because they were already, tight knit? Did you feel like, oh my God, what am I coming into?
Oh, it's awful. Whenever awful is not the right word, but whenever you go into a fit, because when you've been together with people for that long, first of all, you have history together, you have your hard days together and your good days together, and they're super close and they are very bonded. And it is so scary going. You never know what kind of people you're going to meet. Actors can be, well, like anybody else, they can be great and they can be horrible.
Yeah.
I was very nervous. Not that I had heard that anyone was awful. I had heard only good things, but it was my own fear and my own insecurity of like, will I fit in with this group? They like me. And I have to say, like, everyone was so welcoming. In a weird way, I felt like Grant and Candace were kind of like my parents because they were like showing me the ropes. So that infused my character as their kid. And it's so nice going into a show that like everything's very organized. They've been doing it for so long. It's so no, but I from the first day on set, I felt extremely welcomed. So I'm very grateful to them for bringing me into the family with open arms.
So we want to know, myself and everybody on here, we saw Nora die on season 5 at the end. Will she be making a comeback? Is there like a space for her to come back? I feel like there is a space for her to come back. What are your thoughts?
Like, I mean, she's definitely gone. She's gone, and I mean, I certainly have no one's called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come back?" When, as a fan watching the show, this is a world of sci-fi and fantasy.
Right.
I feel like anything is possible. I mean, I can't sit here and say it's impossible. She's dead.
Right.
But I also, I mean, yeah, maybe it's impossible and she's dead. I got a phone call that said, "Hey, we're bringing you back yet." But I know it's so sweet. Like the majority of my like messages and DMs and my Instagram is, "Are you coming back? Are you coming back? Are you coming back?" And it's the nicest thing in the world to hear that people enjoyed something that you've worked really hard at and they want you back. It also breaks my heart because like I
Can't say.
like yes, but I can't. Um, but I guess that's just a big compliment to the character and the way have written her, and she is quite, for the most part, quite beloved, except occasional hilarious message I get that's like, excess is annoying, I'm glad you're dead, which always like
You're watching though. That means they're watching.
exactly. I love a great reaction. I think it's funny either way. It's a compliment either way.
So in Smallville, you also played like a superhero. How are the characters that you played in Smallville and Nora West? How are they similar and how are they different?
They're super different. I mean, I guess in a way, Nora growing up without her father around,
Mm-hmm.
still had her mom and a family. Whereas Plastique's character, I mean, she's a street kid and she has no one, and she's really kind of messed up, and ultimately she ends up going to the dark side.
Right.
Kind of becomes kind of evil. She's like, it's one of those stories where like Superman almost brings her there, and then he and then she's like, okay, I'm more comfortable. So they're really different, and I'm glad that they're really different.
Right.
Because it's more fun to play characters that are super different. But yeah, I would say they're pretty much nothing alike, other than they have a superpower.
Right. I love that. Let's talk about your career. So I know that you said earlier that you're now in a space where you feel like you can say no or you can turn down things. Were there ever moments along your journey where you felt like the role may have been financially good, but you felt like it wasn't a good fit for you, for Jessica?
I mean, certainly when you're starting out, you take every job that is thrown your way.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you hear like really big celebrities talking about the importance of no and not doing something, but these are people, not every big celebrity, but I mean, they're people that have had the opportunity, like they've been famous since they were younger, but so they could, whereas like me, who just came from like no acting background. I know, I was a kid in Canada that moved to LA. I mean, I was not in a position where I could be like, I don't want to play this and I don't want to play that. I really just took every single job. So most of the time at the beginning, and it really didn't have anything to do with money as much as it was like, I need a resume, I need jobs. I mean, I I would hate to take a job for money at this stage. I feel like it would be kind of soul crushing. That being said, like let's say I had 3 kids at home, and a mortgage to pay.
Right.
I mean, it depends on their situation. So I would never ever like have anything bad to say about someone that's taken an acting job for money, because you don't know what their situation is. I mean, all at the end of the day, pay our rent or pay our mortgage or pay for our kids' education. So yeah, there may be a time when I feel like I have to take something for money, but for the most part, I've been really lucky so far in the jobs that I've booked or been offered. It's things that I have really wanted to do. So so far I haven't had to do that.
And what advice, Jessica, would you give to actors or people that are watching now that are wanting to? I always ask this question because I feel like, I mean, you're in it. And so people are coming on here. I feel like I want them to take away something from this. What advice would you give them that they want to tap into their acting journey and they want to also, have a career, like a successful career like yourself? What advice would you give them on getting started?
It's really hard. I think in terms of getting started, you want to get representation, which is the hardest part. I have friends who've been acting forever that like can't get or have wanted to be actors forever who can't get an agent, So the biggest thing I think is getting representation and trying to get good representation, someone that's going to get you out on a lot of auditions. And then it's like, owning space when you're in an audition room, really learning how to audition, because that in itself is kind of a skill. I hate auditioning. I get so annoyed. Well, I think I get annoyed because I'm jealous of actors that are like, I love the auditioning process. I've learned to love it. And I haven't. It's horrible. It's awful. I feel like a performing monkey. I'm sweaty. I never remember my lines. I'm like not a great auditioner. Every once in a while, clicks really well, but I just hate everything about it. But so I guess I would say learn to love auditioning.
Yes.
Um, uh,
That's a start.
in your space. And that's the biggest thing. Like if you want to, audition for an acting school, that's what I did. I took a 2-year program that was extremely beneficial to me. Watch a ton of movies. And a ton of TV because it's such special television right now. So you can learn and educate yourself that way. Uh, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is like getting representation, which is easier said than done because there's nothing you can really do to make someone rep you that I know of. I don't know the secret. A lot of acting is luck and timing. But I think if you're really determined, you don't take no for an answer. Well, I mean, sometimes you have to take no for an answer, otherwise, but uh, yeah, representation and just like keep going every year. Like if they said, do you know you 1 year, put all your stuff in again next year. That's the hardest part. It's
Thank
just,
you.
yeah, maintaining that belief in yourself that like, I will get repped. I will get repped. I will get repped. This is a long answer, but the first year when I got out of acting school, I put I made letters and my headshot and my resume, whatever, for little plays I had done, and I sent them to 12 different agencies, and I got one agent that was like, okay, we'll rep you. Like out of 12, nobody wanted me, so it's really hard. So you just have to like find that like inner strength because people are no to you all the time. So
That's really good advice.
that's the advice.
Thank you. Hopefully some people took notes. Thank you so
I
much
hope.
for sharing that. You are pretty much amazing, I must say, Jessica. So besides being a superhero on screen, you're a superhero in real life. Jessica, talk to us about your initiative that you recently just raised $3,000 for the organization Stand Up for Pits and Wildcat Rescue, and I think it's Watts. It's a number of them. People can go on your Instagram and look at those. But talk to us about that initiative, and also you just helped with the food drive in North Carolina. So tell us what you're doing and how we can help you with your initiative.
Yeah, so I have my fingers dabbled in a few things at the moment, just small things. So the $3,000 I raised on Cameo. Cameo is great because they provide this really cool service where fans can contact you for a video, and I'll sing you happy birthday or do whatever, and I make about 2 to 3 minute long videos for people. So it's really like I think you get your money's worth, but 100% of the proceeds go to whatever organization or foundation that I want. And the first $3,000 went to 3 really amazing dog rescues: the Watts Project, Pause for Life Canine, which is actually a prison project, which is really cool, where they take dogs to prisons and they're trained there by for the inmates, and then to look for places, homes to be adopted in, but the prisoners train them, which is really cool. And Angel City Pit. So I gave $1,000 to each one of those, and now I'm raising for Stand Up for Pits, which is an incredible foundation created by the legendary Rebecca Corey, who's truly my hero. I didn't know anything about pit bulls until I got my little pit bull girl, and Hartley Sword from The Flash is really involved with Stand Up for Pits and a dear friend of Rebecca's, and he's a vegan, and I learned so much from him. I really owe like a tremendous amount of my pit bull education from him, and he works like 5 days a week at work, and then he flies home to LA and he volunteers at the shelters with the pitties every single weekend. Like he's dedicated there in the trenches, and he just inspired me so much to get off my butt and do something. And I don't volunteer at the shelters, but I, try to raise money in my own way and teach people about pit bulls and the joy of them, because there's just so many horrendous myths about pit bulls. Like you can breed them to be mean, or they'll snap one day at you. It's just like absolute nonsense. If you train a dog well, a dog will be great. Like and pit bulls are just like, they just want to lick your face off. That's all they want to do. They're all kind of very similar, and I'm completely obsessed with them. And they are just they just so incredibly good. So Stand Up for Pits, they go around all of the United States, holding huge events, raising money for pit bull awareness and for neutering, and Yeah, it's a really, really cool program. So definitely check it out on Instagram. The North Carolina thing got started because my friend Shazar Hawk, who runs Shizzy's Wildcat Rescue, he's building a wildcat sanctuary, big cat sanctuary for cheetahs and lions and tigers and all those things. It's going to be a wonderful place for cats that can't be released into the wild to like have this amazing retirement community where they can enjoy themselves. Obviously, people see the animals afar, they won't be able to touch them because that's exploitation. That's awful. And that's a whole other thing. But he's building that. It's so special. You can follow him at Shizzy's Wildcat Rescue. And his website is shizzy'swildcatrescue.org. And we just decided, like, he got really angry. Not angry. He got sad because there was a young woman who had a pit bull, and she had to sell her guitar so that she could feed her pit bull during quarantine. And it frustrated him that the money that the guy gave just wasn't enough, and it wasn't helping people really.
Right.
When another one is coming. So it was just a small, we like came up with this, we have a GoFundMe. We're trying to raise money, creating food drives but unfortunately it's only in North Carolina right now. You know, we'll try to expand, but his contacts are all there, and that's what he's doing. So that's, you know, I was just there as the person to like make the video about it. He's there like actually packing the food and handing it out to people and driving it to people's houses and doing all that. So he's a really amazing person.
I think that that's so amazing. People want to know on the comments where the website where they can go to get information about the dogs, the pits, and also for the North Carolina. Is that over with, or is it still
No, it's still going on. So go to my IG.
Yes.
In my bio. I'm still learning all the like, I'm horrible with Instagram technology. I'm still learning all the words. I couldn't remember when I went to story this morning. I like forgot how to story. It's really, like weird. Like my brain just doesn't like compute.
It's crazy.
It doesn't compute. My brain is broken. It's also broken brains because we're like
we're all of this together.
Oh, it's very strange. I like trying to put the milk in the dishwasher, my vegan oat milk that is, in the dishwasher, or like put like dirty dishes in the garbage. It's very strange. But yeah, so if you go to, there's a link in my bio that goes straight to the GoFundMe for the food drive for North Carolina. At Shizzy's Wildcat Rescue is where you can go learn about the sanctuary that we're building. Stand Up for Pits is the Pitbull Awareness Foundation, and then it's the Watts Project, Angel City Pits, and Pause for Life Canine. So those, and you can find all that on if you go through my Instagram, everything's on there.
I love that. That is so amazing. Before I let you go, did you see Tiger King? Because I know you just talked about the big cat rescue that your friend is doing. Did you see that, Tiger King?
So I haven't seen it yet because I have this sounds really lame, but I have a hard time watching animals in peril. If it's in person and I can help out, it's one thing, but it's really hard for me to watch videos about it. I have, Joe is the devil and he's so evil, and I'm devastated that people are going to dress like him for Halloween. I'm devastated that he's become a GIF or a GIF or whatever you call it. I'm devastated that he has so much attention that he does, and I'm devastated that there's petitions to get him out of prison. He's a horrible, evil villain. He's an animal abuser to the max. And I know I haven't seen it yet, so I can't 100% speak on it. I need to see it as someone who is involved in a wildcat. I have to see these things. I can't comment on them if I haven't seen them. But I've just been avoiding seeing it because I know it's going to upset me so much. And I know that I've been very familiar for a long time.
Okay. So you already knew before people.
Yeah, I know about him. Like I know about him. I knew when he put the hit on Carol. I knew, I found out all about that, a long time ago. The documentary isn't like, oh, who's this guy? No, I know about him, and I can't even speak on it because I lose my breath. It makes me so angry. I hate him. He needs to stay in prison. He's a horrible, horrible person, and he put a hit on somebody. He's an attempted murderer. He's a vile human being. So, like I said, I do have to watch it because I can't comment on it if I haven't seen it. But from my years of experience and knowledge about him in the past, he's a devil. So please, please don't dress up like Joe Exotic for Halloween. Please don't make a joke of how crazy and awful this person is, and please don't give him any more attention other than. But you know, at the end of the day, it's really good. The Wildcat Act that Carolyn Howard are trying to get signed is something that I think will go through, because at first it was like he was getting a lot of positive attention, Joe was, but now has come out like a lot of celebrities are trying to get this Big Cat Act signed, which is something change everything. You wouldn't be allowed to have these animals as pets anymore. It's over. It's done. Because like you can have like a tiger in your apartment, you can have an elephant in your backyard, but there's like it's really funny in North Carolina, you can't keep like the squirrels or the local wildlife, but you could throw a giraffe in your backyard and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's really messed up.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Big Cat Act will go through, and that will all change. It's something that I'm extremely passionate about. And yeah, that documentary that was rough to know that was going on in the way that, I don't know. It's just a little like me in my heart. But you know, at the end of the day, he was exposed. That is a good thing. I just hope people get the right message and understand that he's like the devil. So that's my rant about that.
Thank you for that rant. And Jessica, what can we see you on next? Because you kind of gave us a little bit that you may or may not be coming back to the Flash. So what can we expect to see?
Yeah,
from you?
I mean, I guess I could.
We're keeping our fingers crossed.
I know I'm not going back to the Flash, that I know, but yeah, I guess we could keep our fingers crossed. It's like I may come to the Flash as much as I want like this show, The Secret Circle, to like come back and make a movie. I would like love to be a part of a Secret Circle movie. Probably will never happen. So it's cool. I actually have a short film that I was just about to shoot before all this happened. So we're waiting to film that. And I have something really cool planned during quarantine that I'm not allowed to talk about. That's something really happening. So so yeah, that when that comes out, I think that'll be a very, very, very special thing. But yeah, that was really not exciting because I can't talk about any of the stuff.
So we'll just stalk your Instagram so we can see.
Exactly. And rewatch episodes of The Flash, and definitely reach out to me on Cameo to help raise money for Stand Up for Pits. And and then I'm gonna make everybody a video, whatever they like, sing you happy birthday, do a little dance.
I so enjoyed you today. Thank you so much. You are beyond what I even thought. So thank you so much for talking to us today.
For having me. I was like so excited when I got asked to do this. So thank you so much. I'm so like honored to be a part of this interview. So thank you so much.
So grateful for you and all the work that you continue to do. God bless you, Jessica. And we'll be looking on your Instagram for what's coming in quarantine.
Yeah.